تحول كبير شهده الصراع الإيراني الإسرائيلي بعدما خاض الطرفان حرب ظل لأكثر من 4 عقود، إذ تبدل المشهد في الأشهر الأخيرة واندلعت الحرب المباشرة مع استهداف إسرائيل الأراضي الإيرانية وقصف إيران الداخل الإسرائيلي. تحول خطير وغير مسبوق، فكيف تقرأ الأروقة السياسية هذا المشهد؟
Over the last year, since the Hamas attack on Israel, October 2023, you have seen Iran and Israel moving closer to an open, direct war than ever before since the Islamic Republic was created in 1979. But I have to say, I still am convinced that neither Israel nor Iran want to see this open war between them happen at the current circumstances. The Iranians are not ready for such a war. I see no indication from Tehran that they feel confident that this is a war they should enter into or that they can win. On the Israeli side, the only way Israel can enter a war with Iran openly, directly, and be confident to be able to come out victorious is if the United States was on the side of Israel. And that's not the case right now. The United States is willing to help Israel defend itself, but that's a very different matter than helping Israel go to war with Iran, which clearly this Biden administration, at least for now, is not prepared to do.
المخاطر كبيرة لجهة اندلاع اشتباك إقليمي والمستقبل غامض، لكن ماذا يقول أليكس فاتانكا حول الرأي الذي يرى أن إسرائيل تمهد من خلال قصف دفاعات جوية لضربات أعنف ضد إيران بهدف ردعها عن تطوير برنامج سلاح نووي؟
If the Israelis could destroy Iran's nuclear program, I think they would have done it a long time ago. This Iranian nuclear program has been with us as a reality going back at least over about 25 years. It's not a question whether Israel wants to destroy the nuclear program. Surely they do. They have done it in the past with the Iraqi nuclear program, with the Syrian nuclear program. The question is, can Israel do it? And that's where the big question mark is. And I think as of today, given the nature of this Iranian nuclear program, the Israelis are better off staying close to the United States and confront the challenge of Iran's nuclear program and whether the Iranians decide to weaponize it, to do that together with the United States and not alone. Again, we have seen in recent weeks, the United States made it very clear that it was not willing to accept an Israeli attack on Iran's nuclear facilities. And I don't think that position is going to change anytime soon. And the best, most efficient way to deal with Iran's nuclear challenge for Israel is to stay close to the United States and operate hand in hand and not do anything that would anger the Americans. I think when you look at Iran's nuclear program, when you look at how widespread it is, how old it is, how indigenous it is, the idea that one operation or multiple operations will stop it indefinitely is essentially unrealistic. Israel can delay at best Iran's nuclear program, but delaying a program and killing a program are two very different things. And Washington's message to Israel is, you might delay the Iranian nuclear program, but then you have given Iran reason to come back with a vengeance. And next time Iran will say to the world, the Israelis attacked us, why should we not weaponize? And then Iran will maybe go in the direction of weaponizing. Again, that's a nightmare situation for the United States.
قد نشهد في المرحلة المقبلة ضربات أخرى بين إيران وإسرائيل بوتيرة أعنف، خصوصا خلال مرحلة انتقال السلطة في الولايات المتحدة بعد الانتخابات الرئاسية. فكيف سينعكس هذا التصعيد؟
There are so many moving parts to this. There are so many different actors that could potentially jeopardize where the two countries, Israel and Iran, are on this. Right now, both the Israelis and the Iranians are publicly saying that they hope this is the end of it, that they can rest for now. But what happens in Gaza, what happens in Lebanon, all these are factors that will shape. I think the latest that we're seeing are suggesting to us that perhaps Israel and Iran can find a way to reduce tensions by, for example, looking for some kind of a peace deal, ceasefire agreement over the situation in Lebanon. That might give Israel some reason to step back, and that will certainly give Iran some reason to step back, because Iran wants to preserve and make Hezbollah survive the Israeli onslaught right now. So there are ways that the two countries can, if you will, find that off-ramp and de-escalate. But as I said earlier, there are so many moving parts that there's always danger for accidental acceleration and more escalation. That has certainly been the history of the Islamic Republic. They have committed themselves to a long war against Israel. Axis of resistance is not supposed to deliver results in the short term. It's supposed to be a long-term, long war against Israel. Whether Iran has the money, that remains to be seen. Last time Israel and Hezbollah went to war, when so much destruction was brought on Lebanon and Hezbollah in 2006, the Iranians had billions of dollars in their bank accounts, and the price of oil was over $100 a barrel. Iran is in a very different economic situation today. It just doesn't have that financial capacity to do what is done in the past. But that doesn't mean Iran can't contribute, nor does it mean that Iran is not perhaps able to get other countries, particularly Gulf states, countries like Qatar and so on, to contribute to the rebuilding of some of these countries like Lebanon or the Gaza Strip.
خودشون هم البته بزرگنمایی میکنن. بزرگنمایی اونا غلطه. اما توجه داشته باشید کوچک انگاری اون هم غلط.
في تصريح لمستشار المرشد الأعلى علي خامنئي، أبدت إيران انفتاحا على علاقات أوثق مع الغرب. فهل بدأت إيران تستشعر خطر استمرار حرب الاستنزاف مع إسرائيل وضغوط العقوبات الغربية؟
I think the Iranian regime is comfortable to be sanctioned at this point. They've been sanctioned on and off for so many years now that they're kind of almost immune to it. It's not sanctions that they worry so much about. It's the threat of open war with United States. Not so much Israel, United States. That's the ultimate fear of the Iranian regime. And right now, the Iranian regime, or parts of it, fears that Israel might be able to, if you will, drag the United States into a war with Iran, and that would put the Islamic Republic's survival at stake. And that's the concern, I think, in the inner circle in Tehran, around Ayatollah Khamenei and the generals in the Revolutionary Guards. I think right now, in the last few months, Iran has experienced a real sort of turbulence in terms of its policies in the region. For a long time, Iran was arguing that the axis of resistance of the Mughawama was benefiting Iranian security. But Israel is taking the war over the skies of Tehran now. Israel is now threatening to hit Iranian strategic sites. And this is reason for the regime to really think if what they're doing in the region is worth it, if it's serving Iranian national interest, or if it's putting the Islamic Republic's future at risk. So for these reasons, I think we don't know where Iran's going to go. But for sure, when you look at the last 45 years, at no point have the leaders in the Islamic Republic have had so much reason to sit back and to think really hard about what they're doing and what their next step should be.
بعد هذه التحولات وتبدل مشهد الصراع، تشير بعض التقارير إلى أن خامنئي يعاني المرض، وثمة جدل حول الخلافة. فهل ستواجه إيران أزمة حكم في المستقبل القريب؟
There's so much reporting going on about Khamenei's health. For the past 30 years, they've been saying he's got cancer, he's going to die. But 30 years later, 85-year-old Khamenei gives very lucid speeches every week, it seems. So I wouldn't sit here and say our policy should be based on Khamenei's imminent death, because that's old news and has proven to be false. But when he does go, there is an opportunity for people in Iran and around the world to shape calculations of whoever steps in and replaces Khamenei. There'll be a moment of transition, and much can be done to say to the Iranian leaders that they can choose a different path that would serve Iranian national interests better, but also would serve the region better. Countries like Lebanon. I mean, what Lebanon is experiencing right now is not for the Lebanese national interest. You can have Hezbollah in the political system in Lebanon, but it doesn't mean that Lebanon becomes a battleground against Israel for the sake of an ideological agenda that the Islamic Republic has. So my point is the death of Khamenei will eventually come at some point, will be an opportunity for the regime in the Islamic Republic to fundamentally re-examine some of its policies that have brought the country of Iran to the brink of potential war with Israel and the United States.